This weekend was more than track limit penalties and the waving of hands. Here's everything that was weird at the Austrian Grand Prix. Very good start to the Grand Prix. Tsunoda took damage into turn 1 on his front wing, then in turn 4, broke too late and ended up in the gravel. I thought it was a pretty interesting start and he actually did do really well to get into that spot anyway. After that accident, the safety car led all the drivers through the pit lane to keep the track clear for cleaning. Don't get to see that very often. There's a common theme all weekend, that's track limit penalties. By lap 7 of the Grand Prix, we see Norris start chiming in over the radio that Hamilton is going over track limits. This happens a bit. By lap 12, Hamilton gets laps deleted and I believe he's the first one to get a black and white flag. Lap 14, Hulkenberg can't catch a break, he pulls out of the race. Both Ferraris actually have a very slow pit stop. As is almost race tradition, one of the Ferrari drivers is already upset about the team's strategy. Sainz wanted to stay out. Another weekend with another pit stop tussle with Sargent and Gasly. What's going on in this pit stop, guys? Just watch your wings. About a third of the way through the race, Hamilton starts hitting his radio about other people's track limits. To be fair, by the end of the race, you can see a lot of people were going over the limits and getting penalties, but it was a bit of a theme of Hamilton having a whinge. Even Hamilton fans were saying it was a bit much. This is a very strange one. Max Verstappen actually had to look at the rear end of a car for a little bit, something he's probably very unfamiliar with. But then we actually get to see Max Verstappen do some very clinical and professional overtakes. Honestly, it's incredible to watch. Lap 39, Toto Wolf hops onto the radio to calm Lewis Hamilton down. Hamilton is calling in and complaining so much that Toto Wolf has to jump in and calm him down. This takes my radio call of the week. Honestly, it's just a privilege to hear this guy's voice during a GP.
One, but probably deserved.
No one else got penalties yet.
Lewis, they're all gonna get penalties in front of you, all of them, so keep going.
At the start of the race, there were track limit penalties. You were just thinking, come on guys, stay within the limits. But by the end of the race, there were so many of them, you thought, well, maybe they should change the track a little bit. There's actually been a pretty lengthy discussion about that post-race. 2 laps to go, Verstappen comes in for fresh tyres against his team's will. He pulls off getting the fastest lap for an extra point. It comes off as very cocky, but in the way they pull it off, it's like, fair enough, mate, you are that good. That was everything that I thought was weird and interesting about the GP, but just a couple of thoughts about the sprint race. I've had videos on this channel about how I think the sprint races aren't really that engaging for an audience. This weekend had a good sprint race, but I think it's the exception to the rule. I prefer to see teams work on their cars over the weekend through the free practice sessions, have a good qualifying, and then have a really good GP. I'm not against the sprint weekend, but I think the format needs to be changed a little bit. I do acknowledge that this weekend was an engaging sprint race. This is Aliens in the Paddock. Thanks for watching. See you next time.